Good evening, and how are you doing today? This is Love Coach Dasha bringing you again the word of the week. The word of the week is just a simple way for you to take one simple concept in order to start healing after infidelity. If you are with your mate still, you want to forgive them, you haven't quite figured out how to do that yet, these are very simple, very easy concepts that you can start to implement right this second that will start to make you feel a little bit better, will start to make you feel like you're more in control after infidelity. So the word of the week for this week is going to be journal. If you have been with me in my Facebook group or on my Instagram, you know for sure that two top things that I always tell you was one last week was the breathing. You need to be doing your deep breathing, but more than that, you need to be doing your journaling if you are going to try and get over this trauma, because that's what it is. This is a trauma, and journaling is one of the most effective ways to start to deal with a trauma. There are tons of great reasons why you should be journaling. You should just be journaling on general purpose, but specifically for the cause of healing after infidelity, for getting your life back together, for feeling better, there's two good reasons. And the first reason is, first of all, it's calming and it's centering. It gives you a chance to get the stuff that's in your head out of your head and down onto paper so that maybe your brain can let go of it for a while. It avoids some of those intrusive and repetitive thoughts that stress you out and have you anxious and make you feel like you're never going to get anywhere. Just explaining how you feel. Just not talking just about the negative, but explaining how you're feeling, explaining what's going on in your life, and getting that out onto paper is going to start to make you feel a little bit better. It's going to release some of the pressure. It's going to make it so that you don't have to keep talking to your mate about it, which is a little bit more trauma inducing. When you keep going to your mate and talking to them about this negativity, about this anxiety, about this hurt that you have going on, you keep making them more anxious and stressed and hurt. And then you're just revisiting the trauma on yourself. So it's not really helping anything. But when you start to write it down, what you can do is find the repeating thoughts in your writing. When you have a thought that keeps repeating itself and keeps expressing itself, that's the thought that you stop on and you ask a question about. Is this really true? Like a big one that women are always stuck on is, if he was able to do this, then that means that he doesn't love me. He never did love me. And that is an intrusive, disturbing thought that actually isn't true. It's just something we've been told. Oh, well, somebody who loves you could never cheat on you, but that's not true. It can happen. People do bad things all the time. And it doesn't mean that they don't care about you. It just means that they don't have their own stuff that they're going through. So you'll be able to find the patterns in those negative thoughts that you're having and be able to question them. See if it's real. Sometimes just writing it down and questioning it makes you feel a little bit better, makes you feel like you're able to get a grip on it a little bit more. And you'll be able to see these patterns, come back and read what you wrote, and recognize when something is just a bad negative thought that other people have introduced to you, or it's a core belief that you have about yourself that is very negative, that isn't true. You'll be able to recognize those patterns a lot better when you start writing them down. The second reason is it is accurate documentation of what you're going through right now. It may be a little bit emotional documentation, but it is accurate documentation about what is actually going on in your mind right now. And it's not just about the negative. It's going to be about the positive too. You have to stop, sit down, and think about all the parts of your life, not just this one thing, not just this one trauma. When you start to do this and you start to frequently write down things like words like I realize, or because, or I understand, you change that journaling from just venting to actually investigating how you're feeling, trying to get a little bit deeper, trying to understand what is going on inside your head, and trying to put things in a different perspective. And then on top of that, when you are going through a trauma, I know it feels like everything is super sharp and you remember every single detail about what's been going on and you would never forget anything. But the thing about trauma is it convinces you that you remember everything and you really don't. Your memory is worse off when you're going through a trauma. So there might be good things happening that you only remember because you wrote them down in a journaling session. your memory does not work as efficiently as it normally does when you're under that type of stress. But if you write down, hey, things have been going well with us all this week. Things have been going okay. Things have been going pretty good. Things have been going all right today. And you repeat that and you see that when you read it again, you'll recognize that things weren't as bad as you thought they were when you were feeling really negative. So you're going to remember the good along with the bad. It's going to be much more accurate than you trying to remember everything on your own. So simple things. Remember these things about doing your journaling. I don't care what kind of journal you use. Just use some kind of journal. It can just be a notebook. It can be scraps of paper. It could be Post-its. I don't care what you use. And I don't care what type of writing instrument you use. Pen, pencil, whatever, or highlighter. I don't care. As long as you're writing this stuff down, getting it out of your head and putting it down onto paper. You can start off with your date, your time, and your level of anxiety. What you're doing when you do that, if it's 0 to 10, 0 is no anxiety at all, 10 is super anxious, ready to rip your hair out, tear your clothes off, run screaming down the street naked. Now, if you are sitting down to write, chances are you're not at a 10, but as you're writing, you've written at the top what your anxiety level was. As you're writing, a lot of that anxiety melts away. And so at the end, when you write down what your anxiety level is, all of a sudden it's lower than it was when you started off. And it works a lot better than just going to your mate every single time you're upset and making them upset because you're upset. It works much, much easier, much, much faster. So this is something that I really want you all to be doing, working on this week, is your journaling. I want you to sit down at least 5 minutes. Usually, if you can do about 15, that'd be great. But 5 minutes at least when you first pop up, when you first wake up in the morning, and then when you're about to lay down and go to bed at night, because that's going to get, in the morning, it's going to get it out of your head and down onto paper so you can have a good day. You can make up your mind and have a good day. And then when you are putting it down at night, it will help get some of those thoughts out of your head so that you don't have nightmares. And I definitely don't think you need any more nightmares, right? All right, so that's the word for the week. Do your journaling, and don't forget about doing your deep breathing too. If you need some help with that, go back to the previous video. I will walk you through it. But right now, I want you to go break out a journal, go find some kind of notebook to write in, and take 5 minutes of self-care for yourself and write down how you're feeling and what's been going on with you today. It will be very, very valuable in the future. Trust me. All right, y'all. Thanks so much. I will be back again next Sunday for the word of the week. Tell you something simple and basic you can do to overcome infidelity. I'm Love Coach Dasha, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.